Hi guys, gals. I just want to point out a couple of things before we actually get to the fishing, because that's the point of this video, and that's discovering a new ice fishing lake. The first thing I always do, I shouldn't say always, the first thing I normally do, pick out a lake based on pressure, fishing pressure of that lake. And what I mean by like based on fishing pressure, I look at the proximity to like high populations, whether or not there's a lot of houses on it. I mean, the same could be said for summertime. So if you don't want all that boating traffic, or if you don't want all that local cabin traffic in the wintertime, you look for places further away from high populations, big cities, and ones with less houses on it. That's the first thing I usually do when I'm looking for a new lake to try fishing. The second thing I do is I look at the size of the lake, because depending on whether or not if I'm going to take a ride, a sled, or a four-wheeler, I'd rather, if it's just me going by myself, I'd rather it be walking, because let's face it, I don't want to waste all the time loading up a bunch of stuff and unloading it. I'd rather just march my way out there and go to my desired area to target and start fishing. And to find out the size of the lake, I'll use either Navionics, which I don't believe Navionics on the app on your phone gives you the actual acreage of the lake, but I know Fishidy does, and I also know your state will also hold records of the size of the lake that you're looking to fish. Normally, if it's on their records. The third thing is I try to figure out the master angler records, which isn't always indicative of the size of the fish, because for the smart people, they're not going to register their master anglers. But if they do happen to, you'll be able to find that on your state's natural resources page. Like Michigan, the DNR holds the master anglers for all the states. So all I do is the lake I am looking at fishing, I go in to their website, and it lets you filter through everything you want. You can select the exact lake you're looking for, or you can go by county, or you can go by species of fish you're chasing. You can break it down real well to help you narrow that search up for what you want. And then the fourth thing I do, and it's similar to what looking up your master anglers, is to look at the state stocking records of certain fish. So say I want to target walleye in a certain county, I go back to the DNR website and I look up, say 10 years ago, how many fish they stocked 10 years ago, because 10 years from now in an inland lake, they should be getting to be a pretty decent size. And if it's a really well, if it's a good ecosystem in the lake where they got a lot of fish they can feed on, you could possibly have a 10-pound fish in 10 years. So that's another option that I do when I'm going to look up lakes. But today, we are chasing gills and crappies. So I researched this lake. It's small for me to walk on. I got Dad and Josh with me, and we try to find some bluegills and crappies. And the first thing I'm doing when I look for bluegills and crappies, I look for the basins. And what people say by the basins is the deepest point of the lake, basically. And what I like to do is I like to find the secondary basin, or a smaller basin. I don't try to target the first big basin when I'm looking at new lakes, because usually the first big basin is just going to be a lot of searching inside of that, trying to find the pot of fish. It works, don't get me wrong, but it just takes a little bit longer to get going. So I'll find the secondary basin if the lake has one, and then when we get out there, I'm drilling a dozen to 2 dozen holes, dropping my transducer down, my flasher, my fish finder, in each hole, trying to find a pot of fish. If I'm not marking anything in those holes, I will drop it down there, but when I am dropping it down there, I'm making sure it's an aggressive jig or a continuous jig the entire time, because I'm trying to draw those fish in there, at least to mark them so I know that there's fish there. And then once you start catching those fish in those basins, then you can start drilling holes smaller and smaller together. When I'm drilling my dozen to 2 dozen holes in search of those fish, I'm spacing it out probably 30 to 40 yards, if not more or less, depending on the situation. But I'm spacing them out a decent amount because I want to cover that water. And a lot of people will call it hard water trolling, and that's in theory what you're doing is you're just jumping spots to find that group of fish. Now another good item to have with you if you've got it, which I don't, is an underwater camera. Because one, if it's a clear lake, you can see a lot further than what you can drill. So if you can see 40, 50 feet and be like, okay, there's no fish all around in a circle, you spin the camera around and you know you can just keep heading to a direction you want to be going. It helps you actually see down there instead of the small cone that that flashers provide. So that's another option, good thing for you to use. There's other variables to trying to find bluegills and crappies, like finding the weed beds where they pre-spawn. But in February and March, like this time of the year, early March, if you can find those basins, you should be able to at least get on fish. Now, I'm not going to say they're big fish, but you should be able to get on fish. And it may not be high numbers until you really try punch a bunch of holes and find that big group of fish. Oh, and you can also get on forums and check forum reports and stuff like that. And Fishidy also has like hotspots on there. But I would be really careful with Fishidy, especially if you download the app. It's Fishidy. If you're smart and you want to keep your lake to an awesome place to fish all the time, you're not going to be posting on social media and Fishidy and stuff like that to let people know that there is a good amount of fish in here. It sounds mean, but if you want your fishing spot to stay good, you're not going to share it a whole lot. You want to keep it in a tight group. But for guys like us and gals like us that just explore, this is how you're going to do it. We're out at a secret lake today. Got my dad, got Josh. Dad hasn't been ice fishing in a long time. Well, no, you went ice fishing with us, what? With Uncle Dave and Grandpa 3 years ago? 4 years ago? We're really, honestly, today we're exploring. They were giving me crap before we got here that we wouldn't catch nothing, and Josh hasn't caught nothing. And Dad don't have a fish finder to give him the advantage. Gosh dang, dude, I got fish 6 foot off the bottom. I can't get them to know. Oh, there's a good fish. Well, I've got spares. If this is a perch, that's a big perch, but I don't think it's a perch.
Like they are not sharp.
Oh, that's another good gill. I'll catch your guys' limit. Stay up higher. Stay like 3 foot off the bottom. Well, there you go. Hey, get him. What are you doing? Oh, the reel's backwards on you.
Yeah.
What? Oh, look at that. Josh is the only one that's skunked. Sweet, dude. You want to keep one just for nostalgia? We're going to get Josh's secret. This is focusing. We're gonna get Josh's secret on a successful fishing trip.
As long as you eat good, it's a good fishing trip.
That's pretty true. It's pretty true. How deep is it right there?
19.
So 22 foot right here. So that basin's right to the left of us. So we're right on the edge of it. Come on. There we go. Suspended one. Bet you it's crappie. Yep, nice crappie. There's more down there too. They're only about 10 foot down. That's why we hole hop. Or at least why I hole hop. There he is, he's back. He's back! And there's a couple of them. There we go, there's the other one. Yep. Small one. There's still more down here. I can't get them to bite now. I think it's because my spike's all in a ball. No, they're right there. I just can't. My jig is being funky. My spike could have came off for all I know. Nope, there we go. That's a better one. Not huge. Oops, he's stuck. Nope. It's a little fella. Yeah. He's only. I'm gonna let him go. I don't know if that's. Oh, there we go. He's coming up quick. Oh, yep, there we go. There's another one. Come here. Drop down quick.
Over there?
Yeah. That's fighting like a bluegill. But it is not. It's another decent crappie. Wrapped up in my deucer. He just showed up. Yeah, they're still down there. There's like 2 or 3 of them.
Come on, get through the ice.
Yeah, I didn't clean this one out very well. I'll help ya. Ooh, that was a good idea. Go down a little. Yeah, keep going. All right, there, stop. There's a fish right there. Just keep twitching. I don't know, did I explain that well enough? How I find the lake that I decide I'm going to fish, stocking records, all that. Pick a location, find the basins or weed beds if you have a underwater camera. Let me know in the comments if you thought this video was helpful to you. And even better yet, if you did think it was helpful to you, you should hit that subscribe button and smash that bell button. And we're going to keep bringing you, until at least the ice is still here, ice fishing videos, how-tos. We got the elk trip coming up in late August, so we're preparing for that. It's a whole bunch of goodness. So, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.